Welcome to another edition of the UPPLC interview series. I am Janice Johnson Pemida, and our topic for today is on the dwindling reading culture and its impact on Nigeria's socioeconomic development. Dwindling reading culture and its impact on Nigeria's socioeconomic development. Reading, they say, is power, and the place of reading in the general development of man and the society cannot be overemphasized. This is because reading is essential for full participation in a modern society. So what happens in a society where the reading culture is dwindling, the reading is losing its value and all of that? What happens in such a situation, in such a society? So today we have here one of Africa's most prolific poets, a writer and a literary and an esteemed literary critic in the person of Professor Niyi Osundare. He will be doing justice to our topic for today. Good to have you here, sir.
Thank you very much, Janice.
To begin with, sir, Nigerians are generally considered to have poor reading culture. What could be attributed to this, sir?
I think a number of factors. The first one is the word you mentioned in your introduction, values. The Nigerian value system has changed so dramatically, especially in the past 2-3 decades. Time there was when we were in high school, when we were in elementary school, when reading was highly prized, and parents took pride in seeing that their wards and children really became literate. There is an example of mine that I give all the time. Must have been 1956 or so, or 57. When my father went to Lagos, he used to go once a year to buy things for the children. And when he was coming back, my father was a farmer. He didn't know the difference between A and B. He bought a pen, and he didn't show it to me until Christmas Day. He called me to his room upstairs and showed me the pen. At that time, I couldn't use a pen yet, because in those days you had to begin with the chalk on your slate, then pencil, later about 3rd, 4th year in elementary school, pen. So my father, it was a fountain pen. So he showed it to me, and I said, this is the type our teacher has. I wanted to grab it from him. He said, no, not yet. I'm going to keep this pen for you. And he said he was looking forward to 2 events. The day I will be able to write his letters for him using that pen, and later, the day I will be able to show my book to him. Book I had written with that pen. And he said, I'm a farmer. I scratch the surface of the earth with the hoe, but I know the power in this pen. Those who use it and those who respect it, the future belongs to them. That was a man who never went to school, but he had intelligence. So there were many parents like that in those days who would tell you, oh, you're back from school. Have you done your homework? How many books have you read? In high school, it was also the same thing. Every week our principal will go around. That was my grammar school in Ikere-Ekiti. Look, there was a chart in front of every classroom. You know, all our names were there. And then you enter the number of books you had read in the week. And there was a special exercise book in which you recorded the story, that is summary of the narrative, and also new expressions gained. That was how people like us began what has now become our writing career. That was a time when Nigeria's neck stood squarely on its, Nigeria's head stood squarely on its head. Now, that head is askew. Now, because our value system has changed. It is now money, money, money. A couple of years ago, must have been 2012, in my authors forum lecture to the University Press See, that was actually the theme, homage to the book, the power of the book. You said there is power in reading. Yes, a great deal of power in it. There was a time we didn't need to be told in Nigeria. It came naturally. But these days, things are different. Now, our economy has become worse. You can't read well or write well when you are hungry. People are hustling all over the place. Two, we've been producing a bunch of leaders who don't really believe in the culture of the mind. Most of them are interested in rigging elections and playing foul with the public treasury. And in those days, education had value. You left school, you had a job. When I graduated in 1972, there were 4 jobs that were available to me. I decided to go into teaching because of the kind of teachers that taught me and the respect I had for them. Things are different now. So people who graduated 3 years ago, 4 years ago, are still walking the streets. How then are you going to tell young ones, oh, there is value in education, this and that? Get rich quick. This is the culture of the present Nigerian society, and it has led us into all this trouble. Money by all means. The young ones, 17-year-old, 16-year-old, are either killing people to get money and buy a Mercedes and build a house. You want to build a house at age 17. Yes. Or they do Yahoo. They are here, they filch people of their money, different parts of the world. Nigeria has become so notorious. When colleagues come to me and they tell me, oh, I have received a Nigerian letter. It is so galling. The Nigerian letter is a type you send to people abroad. Oh, my name is so. I'm deserted somewhere, and please send me money so that I can do this. And those letters are forged. So this is it. Iṣẹ́ kékeré, owó ńláńlá, small work, big money. That is the value that has displaced education. We cannot look at the reading culture without looking at the educational system itself and the Nigerian's attitude to the faculty of the mind. Occasionally I'm told, oh, you've been writing all these books. Keep on writing. Keep counting your books. We will be counting money. It used not to be so in the past. This country is heading the wrong way, and I think this is why things are like this. People are not interested in reading.
Okay, thank you. So you mentioned something about poverty. Okay, so if poverty is actually one of the issues, how do you think poor countries can bridge readers?
It was the great Nkrumah who said, just grab the political kingdom and all other things shall be added unto thee. I think it was signifying on some saying from the Bible. The economy. It is important for people to have enough to eat, to have a shelter over their heads, to be able to send their children to school. If you are not sent to school, there is no way you can read. There is no way you can become a reader or a writer. It is so basic. 1955, I'll never forget, January 1955, in my little town in Ekiti, the town of Ikere was like a battleground. There were so many children in the streets. They were all going to school. Those who had been left at home for a long time, girls that were not supposed to go to school because they were just to be brought up to marry and go away. A man called Obafemi Awolowo said, no country can make, no region, no country can make any progress without free education. That was how free education came about. The wonders Awolowo's policy has created in the western part of Nigeria today is obvious everywhere, and in fact the rest of the country. So that was a time, the kind of politics we play is very important. The kind of leaders that we have. I ask all the time, Will you ask the Nigerian president when last he read a new book? Don't waste your time. Our governors, except for one or two of them, when last did you read a book? Before you can cultivate the art of writing, of reading, and so on, you have to love the book to begin with. With many Nigerian politicians, the book is an enemy. Why? Because it contains ideas. Yeah. You say reading is power. Yes, it is power indeed. Our politicians, I don't think, want us to have that power. So it was Mwalimu Nyerere of Tanzania who said, my policy is to put a book in the hand of every child. I think Fidel Castro of Cuba said the same thing. Nkrumah did a similar thing to Ghana. Incidentally, Nkrumah and Awolowo were very close, ideologically and personally. When a literate leader is in the country, you don't need to be told. The thing percolates. It's right to the people get interested in knowledge. They are energized and they want to read. So our economy has to be better. A child that is sick but cannot go to hospital because he has no money, you can't put a book in his hand. When you are hungry, that is it. You can't read. Many children are hungry in this country today. 15 million Nigerian children are out of school. Most of them in the northern part of this country. Are you surprised there is Boko Haram or bandits or terrorists? It is no rocket science. Whatever you put in is what you get at the end. How do you tell the Almajiri, those kids with little balls in their hands, begging that, oh yeah, reading is good. They don't even know what reading is. Nigeria has to put every child in school. You can't become a reader or a writer without going through school. There was a time school was glorious, and people wanted their children to be there, especially at the elementary and secondary level. Today, everybody is trying to set up universities. Oh, my university, because they want to make money from the universities. But the foundation is weak because the elementary school has literally disappeared. Secondary school has literally, the quality has gone very bad. And this has come up to the universities. Open another graduate essay, a book. Something written by another graduate, and you'll be surprised. Did each one ever go to school? So illiteracy is at the bottom of this, and for us to solve the problem, we have to make the economy better. The situation in which 1% of the Nigerian population controls 95% of Nigerian wealth can only create chaos, can only create trouble. My mother used to say, one mouth must not do all the eating while all the other mouths are merely watching. No, the economy has to be fixed. Let every child have enough to eat. Let them have schools to go to. Let them have money to buy the books. Make books cheap and affordable. And then Nigerians take interest in who you vote for. Take interest in who is ruling you. Ask questions.
Sir, you said something about making books cheap. But one thing about Nigeria and the publishing industry is that most of the materials they use for publishing are actually sourced from abroad because we don't have those materials here. So since those materials are sourced from abroad, it makes these books very expensive for people to be able to afford. So what do you think can be done about this situation?
My new book, I think it came after this. They came to me 1 week of each other. But that one is published in the US. I think it's $18.95. Let's say $19. 19 times 575. That is going to over 12,000 naira. You want to put a book of poetry in somebody's hand and say, give me 13,000 naira? No. The naira has collapsed. This is again talking about the economy. When the naira was better, When the Nigerian economy was stronger, books cost less. And then we had more too. Intramed and all these other people, there was a time people used to come from West Africa actually to print their books in Ibadan here. Those printers, I don't know where they are now. If you do it here, it will certainly be cheaper. Now, people go to China, they go to India, they go to Malaysia to print. Of course, landing cost is the same reason gasoline, which comes from the crude we produce there in the Niger Delta, when it comes to us, it is so expensive because we are importing what we produced originally. So again, I keep talking about the economy. Books are expensive because the materials we need for making books are not available in this country. Nigeria has become a consumer society. In the 1980s and 1990s, there was a place, is it Cross River, Okuiboku, where paper was produced. Now, government encouraged publishers to use this. The quality was not too high, but it was cheap. Newspapers also started using it. I don't know where that paper industry has gone now. Just as our refineries have disappeared, that one too has disappeared. This country is less industrialized now than we were 20, 40, 50 years ago. We do not produce what we consume, and whatever comes in has to be denominated in the currency of the country that it is coming from, and the naira that we need to buy it here has collapsed. So the logic is the naira purchases less and less and less. Books are the first victims here, the knowledge industry. So it is our production base will have to come back again. This whole idea of going abroad for everything to China, to India, and so on, we should be ashamed of this. You know, the materials we need come from abroad, and that is why books are expensive and unaffordable.
From everything you said, it shows that banditry, most of the problems that Nigeria is facing right now, terrorism and all of those issues, kidnapping and whatsoever, they are all caused by this lack of reading, literacy and all of that. So who are the stakeholders involved in this, and what can they do to actually solve this problem? What role does each stakeholder have to play to be able to solve this issue of literacy and all?
Yeah. Let's do some etymological exercise. Boko Haram. Originally, Boko Haram actually means book is haram. Book is abomination. That's what it means. Haramu in the Quran means something that is offensive. This is something that is abominable. Can you really ask somebody whose philosophy is Boko Haram to pick up a book when right from the beginning he has said book is abomination? Again, our culture, our politics, and as you said, the stakeholders. The entire society is a stakeholder as far as the production, dissemination, and utilization of education are concerned. There was a time the three factors met and they worked together. But our politics have become so bad since then, thanks to military dictatorship. The soldiers destroyed everything, virtually everything we had in this country. Since they came into our lives, Nigeria has been going down, 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 down south. You know. So then the children, as I said the other time, who don't go to school. You are a man, you have 4 wives or 3 wives or whatever, and you have 20 children, 25 children. You don't even make any attempt to send any of them to school. Your belief is whatever they will become according to the will of God. Nothing could be more disingenuous, more lazy, and more dangerous. God only helps those people who help themselves. Put them in school. Because when I see these children all over the place begging, bowls in their hands, I say, these ones must have come from certain homes. Where are the mothers? Where are the fathers? No. So the school for these children is the street. They don't even know what books are like. They don't know what they are missing because they don't know the joys of reading and writing. They don't have anything at all. No. So the stakeholders, it's the entire society. Our rulers have to become leaders. This again is important. I don't see any urgency in the way Nigerian rulers treat education, treat literacy. No, they don't talk about. They don't even talk about it. This is what I mentioned in my University Press lecture a couple of years ago. I think it was in the last days of President Jonathan. All of a sudden, they just said, oh yeah, there's going to be a program, and we are calling it Bring Back the Book. Oh, and they were going all over the place, oh yeah, bring back the book. But I saw the hole in the whole scheme. Bring back the book. Where has the book gone? Who drove the book away? Now, have you found a new home for the book, really? If many of you see the book now, will you recognize what you are seeing? The book in the past couple of years has not really featured in the value grade of the Nigerian society, and our rulers have to take a lot of responsibility for this. There is a budget. You spend half of that budget building churches and mosques. Now, what do we say about that? Sponsoring people to go to pilgrimage in Jerusalem or pilgrimage in Mecca. When you get to Jerusalem, in Israel, do you really know that you are in one of the world's most developed countries? Scientifically, culturally, everything? When you get to Saudi Arabia, do you know that you are in one of the richest countries in the world? The way they spend their money and the way they educate their kids. At the university where I teach in the US, quite a number of times I run into students from Saudi Arabia. You can see very serious-minded people. They do all, and they are very comfortable. They do all that they need to do. What do? Prom. They return home. Their colleagues, their age mates in Nigeria, are doing everything to run away from Nigeria, either across the Sahara or just by any means necessary. Look at the difference between the two. The Nigerian system is bad. Our political system will have to be changed. Our rulers have to convert themselves into leaders. Let's put knowledge first. Let's show children and people the power that is between the two covers of a book.
Libraries have a historic mission of fostering literacy and learning. Now, the relegation of this very vital institution of recent has become a matter of great sadness. What can you say about this?
Thank you very much. I took part in a Zoom discussion about 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about this, the new search engines. So I was asking, has research now moved to the cyberspace? Yeah, the cyberspace is extremely useful. Oh, the brains that worked together to create the computer. It's amazing. Again, those who did all these wonderful things are able to do them because they went to school, because they are able to read and write. We are here in Nigeria consuming the product of other people's imagination, of other people's effort, and we are underdeveloping our own. Search engines are very important, but what I'm saying is the library is also very important. We must we must make sure that one does not displace the other, because the two of them can live in pari passu. Surely, the library. In 2003, I was in Alexandria, in Egypt. The company of other African writers and scholars. And when we got to Alexandria, the story everybody was telling was the new library. Alexandria used to have one of the best libraries in the ancient world, but it was also a time of barbarism. Alexandria was conquered and they burned down the library. The United Nations pumped money into the project and they rebuilt that library. We were asked to donate our books, some of our books, and I was happy to donate it. The point, of course, I knew it was such an epochal moment that I would be inspired to write about it. I did write a poem about it. The library. I have always loved the library the same way I love the bookstore. In my final year at my grammar school, this was 1966, I was made the school prefect. And I say it up to the present moment. I thank the principal and the other teachers for doing that, because that was where I slept, that was where I interacted with books, and that was where books also interacted with me. All these things have not come by chance. It's because of the way we were brought up. So the library is extremely important. It is the storehouse of human ingenuity. It's that building which contains those jewels of knowledge which made the past possible and make the present pleasant, and also will be making the future feasible to all of us.
Sir, this is one of your new books that was recently published. So can you tell us a little bit about this book?
This book, talk about yourself. Well, first let me thank University Press PLC for publishing this beautiful, beautiful book. Everybody has been talking about the packaging and also, well, I hope they will also talk about the content. One of the interesting things remarkable things about this book is that it was more or less my achievement in the first COVID year, 2020. Virtually everything here, I was in the US, and after University Press was there. We had to do everything by email and so on. It was difficult, but I give thanks to the staff of University Press for their patience and also for being so understanding. Yes, it's a book I love very much. As you can see, Snap Songs. It's made up basically of poems that I have published in the public fora in the past many, many years. Just a selection of them. Right now, I'm running a poetry column in one of Nigeria's leading Sunday newspapers, The Nation. For that's where the title, Snap Songs, comes from. Short poems, pungent and so on, where I put some of the things I have been saying here in poetic form. Then there's The Nation, the Guardian, Sahara Reporters, the online media such as Sahara Reporters and Premium Times. There are also poems that have come from there. So this was what I started when my Sunday column moved from the Tribune to The Nation. The Tribune was where it all started in the past. These are poems, really, what I call history in motion. Uh, some of the poems that are advertised here, The Leader and the Led is currently in the WAEC syllabus. And then I think about my most famous poem so far, My Lord, Tell Me Where to Keep Your Bribe. This again is satire, June 12 and so on. And World War III, Here We Come. This was a couple of years ago I wrote this. Now look at what is happening in the Ukraine now. So this is really it. It's not my first experience with UPL, and it is not going to be the last.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for taking your time to grant us this wonderful interview. Would you like to say anything in conclusion based on the topic we just discussed?
Yes. Taking off from the point you made in your introduction, reading is power. The book is a gem. It's a treasure house. No country in the world has ever made any progress in the absence of the book, in the absence of knowledge, in the absence of the inestimable power of human imagination. In 1644, the British poet and statesman John Milton wrote an article called, well, it became a short book, a small book later, Areopagitica. There, he was defending the book. He was telling the Lords and Commons of England, don't ban the book, don't do this to it. Why? Because the book is a precious jewel of the human mind. And the book outlasts us. This is why we're able to read Shakespeare today. By the way, this is why we're able to read the Bible and the Quran. They are books, you know. And I hope that more and more will be able to read Eseifa too, our own indigenous belief system and religion. So the power of the book. Finally, let us put education in the front burner of our national concern. When the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair was asked, I was in the UK then, and it was interesting, he was campaigning for office. When you get to office, what will be your 3 priorities? Tony Blair said, education, education, and education. Let us say that to the Nigerian rulers. Let the Nigerian people also put our rulers to task. Let us be interrogative citizens. It is not Kabiyesi syndrome. All the oppression is happening to you, and you are just there watching. Those who rule us are human beings like us, and they say we put them in office. Every child deserves an education, not just because of the sake of that child or his or her family, but because of the society itself. Education makes it possible for us to be governed and not to be imprisoned. When you educate the people of the country, you turn them into productive citizens.
Thank you very much, sir. To our audience, thank you for watching. From what Prof has said, it is obvious that most of the problems we are facing in this country and even in Africa as a whole is as a result of lack of reading and illiteracy and all of that. So we all have roles to play. We are all stakeholders in this, and we all have roles to play. We need to change our orientation. We need to teach the younger generation the importance of reading to our society. For our society to develop, we have to breed readers. Thank you.